Hey, you're listening to ToonCast.
We've got a gorilla for sale, Magilla gorilla for sale. Won't you buy him, take him home and try him, gorilla for sale. See in the window, Magilla gorilla, full of charm and appeal. Handsome, elegant, intelligent, sweet, he's really ideal. Don't you want a little gorilla you can call your own? A gorilla moving with you when you're all alone.
The Magilla Gorilla Show, presented by Ideal Toys. They're wonderful toys. They're ideal. Get it?
Gorilla, Magilla gorilla for sale.
How much is that gorilla in the window?
Take our advice at any price. A gorilla like Magilla is mighty nice. Gorilla, Magilla, gorilla for sale.
Hello and welcome to the 44th episode of ToonCast, brought to you by the GeekCast Radio Network. I am your host, DFD1 Mike, and today I am joined by a Skyped Kevin Thompson. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you are finally not on your damn cell phone. Well, this is temporary because you're at your mom's house, but yeah.
I do feel better without the Bluetooth in my ear and actually having a headset with the earphones and the microphone and everything. I feel more like proper.
Yeah, exactly. Today we will be continuing the Hanna-Barbera Spotlight with Magilla Gorilla. How much is that gorilla in the window? So what have you been up to this week?
Let's see. A couple minor things around the house that I've been trying to work on. I just bought, because it was a pretty good deal, I couldn't pass it up, but bought a new couch-type sectional thing for my living room, so I finally have something to sit on, and I can actually have a couple friends over and have places for them to sit on, too, so that's a positive. Other than that, besides getting ready to do a couple more things for the ToonCast and doing a lot of stuff over behind the voice actors and watching lots of movies. That's about all I've been up to lately.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. We just, by the time this airs, we'll probably already be way down the line in it, but as of this recording, we just finished Beast Unleashed Episode 5, and oh my god.
I am going to have to listen to a couple of those because it sounds like you guys are having some fun there.
Oh my god, dude. That show... Thank God all of our shows for the majority have an explicit tag on them because, oh my god, that show is just like one consistent, and it's not like, I don't say this to be mean or for it to come out bad. That show is just one consistent train wreck. Because
it's always good.
We find so many ways to either get off topic or associate something to do with Beast Wars with every other topic that we can think of. It's like, oh my god. Oh,
I do have to give you a hard time, though, actually, because I did remember something else I did this week that I wish I wouldn't have. I watched 4 episodes of Phineas and Ferb.
I love that show. And
the only thing I can tell you is that at least it's better than Dexter's Laboratory.
Okay, you commented on my Facebook post about it, and you said, why would you, that you're going to have to disavow all knowledge of Geekcast Radio if that I continue to watch this show. I'm sorry. This cartoon, Phineas and Ferb, it's so great. It's one of those cartoons where it's about kids who are doing crap that no other kid would do during summer vacation. They're making the most out of their summer vacation. Yeah,
I guess the problem I have with it, I did watch 4 episodes, and the stories themselves aren't bad. It actually does have more of a plot than a lot of cartoons do. I can't get past the animation for me. It's just a style that I just cannot stand. It's slightly better than the style with like Dexter's and some of those, but I just can't stand when you just take shapes and make those like heads, and like the one dude's head is a triangle, and it's not that I know that's their intention, so it's not like they're doing something wrong, but for some reason that style of animation just I can't get past. I don't know what's worse, that style of animation or anime. I haven't decided which one's the worst.
Well, and that's fine, but you can't...
It had good stories.
There are some cartoons where they are just out and out crap. Silverhawks notwithstanding, but Phineas and Ferb, it's a good cartoon. They have good characters. The voice acting is spot on for the characters. It's just a great fun show. It's one of those shows that Disney is coming up with now. I guess you could call it the new age of Disney. But anyway.
I think we should take a look back through all 44 episodes so far and take a count of who has more. Have I ripped on Dexter's more, or have you ripped on Silverhawks more?
I'll freely admit it. I probably ripped on Silverhawks more, but that's beside the point. Like, I like that show. Don't get me wrong, but it's still it's not anywhere close to even being in my top 20.
Of top 20 of all time, or top 20 of the 80s?
Top 20 cartoons, just my favorites.
Okay, I can give you that.
It's just not.
If you said it wasn't in your top 20 for the 80s, I might have a problem.
It'd be on the lower end. It'd be probably like number 20.
Oh, rat bastard.
Oh, crap. So, let's get on to the history lesson before we derail this anymore.
All right. Now that we've talked about Phineas, Ferb, Dexters, and Silverhawks, today's history lesson takes us to 1964 for, yes, actually a Hanna-Barbera cartoon called Magilla Gorilla. Magilla was produced, obviously, by Hanna-Barbera for Screen Gems and was sponsored in syndication by Ideal Toys, and you can actually hear them reference Ideal Toys in the opening theme song. Magilla lasted a total of 31 episodes from January 16, 1964 to 1967. Besides airing in syndication, the show also was broadcast at one point by the ABC network. That does it for today's history lesson. Mike, what do you remember about that good old Magilla Gorilla in the window?
I remember this mainly from recent times when I had before I moved into the apartment I'm in now, when I was at my other apartment, when I had DirecTV and I could watch Boomerang. Because it's always on now. I mean, that's the whole point of Boomerang, is all these classic cartoons. And I didn't ever really watch this growing up. It's more of, I'd say the last 4 or 5 years that I actually caught up with this. And it just surprises the hell out of me that people would use Magilla in different situations. Like, they had him in one episode as a football player.
Right.
And then when they realize, oh my god, it's a gorilla, and then of course, I'm kind of skipping ahead and getting into the plot, but it's like, wow, how did these people not know it first? And I'm thinking that's where Chicken Boo came from. Honestly, if you look at it seriously, obviously Magilla doesn't have a disguise, but he does wear clothes. So, I don't know. It's not a bad cartoon. And again, like I've said on so far on a lot of these Hanna-Barbera ones, I like a lot of the side characters. Pumpkin Puss and Mush Mouse were two of the side characters from Magilla's show, I think.
Right.
What about you?
For some reason, I don't actually have as big of as clear of a recollection of Magilla Gorilla as a kid as I do with, like, let's say, Yogi Bear, Jabberjaw, a couple of them like that. It's kind of one of those where I've forgotten most of it until I rewatch it, but I do remember one thing that always stuck with me was the whole theme song / the whole idea of the Magilla or the gorilla in the window. How much is that, gorilla in the window type stuff? I remember that part. I honestly would not have remembered any of the side characters in this segment or any of the details of the show until I had watched it again. But it is a good show. I don't know if I would say I like it as much as, let's say, Yogi Bear or some of the other ones, but it's entertaining, and they do a good job with what they were wanting to do. I think it's a little more. Let's say it's just a slightly bit more original than last week's episode.
Hey, okay.
I like Jabberjaw better probably, but Jabberjaw or this is a little more at least original with the idea.
Did you know, and I just found this out, actually, our voicemail call-in from last week, Chris from Chicken Pot Pod pointed it out to me. He couldn't remember who the actor was, but he pointed out that the actor also voiced Curly in the Robotic Stooges. Did you know that Frank Welker was Curly in the Robotic Stooges?
Yeah.
Well, I messaged
For
Chris.
some reason I didn't message. For some reason I didn't bring that up, or I didn't think of it at the time when we did the show. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I sent Chris a message on Twitter after he sent in the voicemail. He's like, "Oh, I really like the voice of Jabberjaw. I don't remember who the guy was. You guys have probably already said it." And I got on TweetDeck and I'm like, "Dude," and then all in caps, "You don't remember Frank Welker?" He never really responded to me, but it's just some funny stuff. Yeah, Magilla's okay. Magilla isn't something that I can watch consistently. I I said, I like the side characters of Mush Mouse and Pumpkin Puss. Again, it's the syndrome of Hanna-Barbera taking off the Tom and Jerry thing. You had Pixie and Dixie and Mr. Jinx, now you have Pumpkin Puss and Mush Mouse. And it's basically a countrified hillbilly version of a cat and a mouse.
Right. I think this is also a good time, since we kind of scratched it from our original Hanna-Barbera lineup, to bring up a comparison real quick between the two big, monkey men, Magilla Gorilla and Grape Ape. I think it was odd for them to do two humongous, monkey characters. I like Magilla Gorilla as a show better. I like Grape Ape as a character better.
Well, Magilla wasn't that big. I mean, Grape Ape, he's a 40-foot ape.
Yeah. But
Magilla, he was... I don't know what the regular size for a gorilla is, but it didn't show him taller than most. Obviously he's going to be taller than OG and Mr. Peebles, but they didn't over-proportion him being this King Kong type of character.
Yeah.
They actually made him more human than they did gorilla, I think.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Well, I think since you mentioned them, it kind of runs us right into the main characters, which, like you said, there's basically three main characters in this: Magilla Gorilla, Mr. Peebles, and OG. Mr. Peebles is the owner of the shop where Magilla Gorilla is there, and you can see, usually in the intro or in the first couple episodes, or sometimes in every episode, that he's basically always trying to sell Magilla Gorilla. And then OG is obviously the little girl that would like to buy Magilla Gorilla, the only person really that has a big interest in him.
Yeah.
I think I like Mr. Peebles a lot.
Yeah, he's basically Mr. Spacely without Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
Because, and obviously without George Jetson and without the whole futuristic thing, because he's pretty much the same model, except he's colored a little differently. His mustache is a different color than Spacely's was, I think, and obviously he doesn't wear the Spacely spacesuit clothes.
But he does look a lot alike. I hadn't really thought of that.
Yeah. Mr. Peebles is pretty cool, and he's,
I couldn't find an episode with OG in it on YouTube. I don't know why. I could find lots of episodes of Magilla Gorilla out there, because I don't own any of the cartoons on
right
or anything like that. But I couldn't find any with OG actually in it.
I think OG normally comes in at the beginning and end of most of them.
Okay.
I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, people can email in or they can call in. But I think she usually appears in the beginning or ending of most of them, if she's in them at all. I don't think there's one episode where it's Magilla and OG throughout the entire episode, because the whole point of OG's character is everybody telling her that she can't buy Magilla, but she wants to. She loves Magilla, she loves spending, and they make note of the fact that they spend time together. She stands outside the window and, they talk to each other, which, again, because it's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, they have a gorilla talking to a little girl. It's just like Huck Hound talks to people, talking dog. So, but no, I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong in saying that she only appears in the beginning and ending, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I don't know. I like Mr. Peebles. I like Magilla Gorilla. And like most Hanna-Barbera cartoons, the rest of the characters, there really isn't like necessarily bad characters, but the other characters that take home Magilla Gorilla to only find out that he's not what they want or whatever. They're just spot shows. Basically, they don't. There's not like a lot of recurring characters.
No. Yes.
The rest of it, for now, I guess, is the voice cast.
Yeah.
Got Alan Melvin, who does the voice for Magilla Gorilla. That's probably one of his most famous roles.
Right.
Then we have Gene Vanderpyle, who does OG, and Howard Morris, who does Mr. Peebles.
Who was later replaced by Don Messick.
Right. And you might recognize Howard Morris's voice from a show called Garfield and Friends. He was Wade the Duck.
Oh, wow.
And Gene Vanderpyle is an icon of the early female voice actors. She,
right.
Wilma Flintstone, Pebbles Flintstone, Rosie the Robot from Jetsons.
That's where I recognize that name from.
So she's been in quite a few things.
Yes, as of this episode, we are in episode 44. We are about 15 or 16 episodes away from hitting Garfield and Friends. That won't be until episode 60.
Good to know, though.
Well, you mentioned Garfield, so I figured I got the schedule right here. I might as well tie it into the discussion.
And the reason I thought of that is because one of the top 10 lists I'm trying to put together, besides all the voice actors ones, I'm trying to have some fun by doing, like I said a few weeks ago, different like animal characters. Mm-hmm. And one of the first ones I did was the top 10 animated ducks. It's not actually finished yet, but Wade the Duck he's either going to be 10th or just missed the list, so that's why I knew Howard Morris had done it. There's a lot of good ducks out there. That's a whole different discussion.
You're gonna have a hard time between number 2 and number 1.
Oh yeah, that's the hardest choice.
Well, the number 2, number 1 for me, I don't know where I would put who first because Donald and Daffy.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Those are probably the two that are. I mean, not probably. Those are the two that are basically duking it out for that top spot. But I mean, I didn't realize how many good ducks there were out there because you got Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You got Darkwing Duck, Yacky Doodle, Scrooge McDuck, Plucky Duck, Count Duckula, Daisy Duck. So there's a lot of ducks. But yeah, Donald and Daffy are at the top.
And the only reason why you know what? I wouldn't even put either one of them at number 2 and number 1. I would put them both at number 1 for the only reason of being of the only time they ever teamed up was to do that piano skit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, but that's a good point. But I don't know. I'll see how I end up sorting it out a little bit.
Yeah. Do we want to move into the behind the scenes?
Sure. Like everybody knows, the producers are Hanna and Barbera. There's no surprise there. That's why they're in the Hanna-Barbera spotlight. The writers, I believe either one or two of these guys is still one of those Warner Brothers. I think they stole them from Warner Brothers. It
was Warren Foster.
Yeah. Okay. So Warren Foster was stolen from Warner Brothers, and then you got Tony Benedict and I don't recognize the other guy, but Dalton Sandifer.
Yeah.
And, of course, the directors are also Hanna-Barbera in this one. But there's not a lot of background information. I know there is on one of the DVDs of one of those Saturday morning cartoon sets. There is a kind of behind-the-scenes or a special feature that's all on Magilla Gorilla, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's any good or not.
Yeah, I don't remember which.
So there might be some more behind-the-scenes if you're really interested on one of those DVDs. There's not a ton online unless you look up some Hanna-Barbera, like, old-time writings.
Right, yeah. Alright, getting into the actual show. In Magilla Gorilla, the protagonist spent his time languishing in the front display window of Mr. Peebles' pet shop, eating bananas and being a drain on the businessman's finances. Mr. Peebles marked down Magilla's price considerably, but Magilla was invariably only purchased for a short time, typically by some thieves who needed a gorilla to break into a bank, or by an advertising agency looking for a mascot for their new product. The customers always ended up returning Magilla, forcing Mr. Peebles to refund their money. Magilla often ended each episode with his catchphrase, "We'll try again next week." The only customer who was truly interested in obtaining the trouble-prone ape for good was a little girl named Oji, who unfortunately could never convince her parents to let her buy him. During the cartoon's theme song, "We've Got a Gorilla for Sale," Oji would always ask hopefully, "How much is that gorilla in the window?" a twist on the old standard, "How much is that doggy in the window?" This show, like some of the other earlier Hanna-Barbera cartoon shows, consisted of 3 separate segments. The 3 segments were Magilla Gorilla, Pumpkin Puss and Mush Mouse, and Ricochet Rabbit. Later on, the Peter-Potamus segment entitled Breezely and Sneezely would also be featured. All of the features were from Hanna-Barbera and Ideal Toys and were accompanied by big promotions and fanfare.
Yeah, so I kind of had forgotten, but yeah, Ricochet Rabbit, Breezely, and Sneezely. I'm not really familiar with those segments, but
Ricochet Rabbit is basically a countrified version of Bugs, who is a sheriff who has these magic bullets to capture bad guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And basically what happened there, just to give you a little more insight, because Peter-Potamus and Magilla Gorilla were both these promotions by Ideal Toys and Hanna-Barbera, what they did is they took one from each segment and flip-flopped them like a year or two into it to try to get some crossover fans that would follow that segment into the other show.
Yeah,
so that's why you had that switch. I don't know which one left. I don't know if it was. I think it was Ricochet Rabbit that left, and Breezely and Sneezely came in. I don't think it was Pumpkin Puss and Mush Mouse.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like you said, just get in some trivia. You already mentioned this one, but Mr. Peebles' physical appearance was based on that of an earlier Hanna-Barbera character. I didn't know it was actually based on it, but Mr. Spacely, like you said. The great ape's name is a near homophone to the Hebrew Yiddish word Megillah, Magilla, which means scroll, and is often used in a joking way to indicate a long, drawn-out story, and the teller of such a story. That's the dumbest trivia fact I've ever read on this show. As pointed out on the Rhino Records CD liner notes for their collection of Hanna-Barbera theme tunes, part of Magilla's purpose was to sell likenesses of himself. The show was sponsored by Ideal Toys, and that's why you can hear it in the theme song, and it also produced a Magilla stuffed toy. Not quite as dumb, but close. The Beastie Boys name-checked the ape on the album Paul's Boutique in 1989. Take my advice, at any price, a gorilla like your mother is mighty weak.
Oh, that's dumb.
In the X-Men comics, Hank McCoy, Beast, was nicknamed Magilla Gorilla in high school. That's an interesting fact. I did not know that. Brazilian boxer Adelson Magilla Rodriguez got his nickname because of his physical resemblance to Magilla Gorilla. These are horrible facts, but I want to read them anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we should read that next one.
Okay, the term Magilla is used as slang to refer to bad play in a game of poker. Wow, I played that hand like such a Magilla. In the second season finale of Lost, Sawyer refers to Hurley and Kate as Magilla Gorilla and Pippi Longstocking. And in the Australian National Basketball League, the Hobart Devils import Jim Havrilla in 1993 was nicknamed Magilla the Gorilla because he smashed backboards with his slam dunk. So obviously, just the name Magilla Gorilla has basically resonated throughout pop culture and all of culture to be a quick nickname or a quick name that's easily used for someone that's big or overpowering or kind of a bumbling troublemaker.
Yeah, and going into the music segment, same as last week, White Curtain.
Although this time we have another guy joining him, Ted Nichols. Yeah, White Curtain has done every theme song and series music basically for the Hanna-Barbera Spotlight.
Yeah. Oh. Wait, how many episodes did you say there was of this show?
Oh, let's see.
31 episodes. Okay, never mind. Alright, getting into the Legacy segment. Some other appearances and media for Magilla. Magilla Gorilla appeared in both Yogi's Arc and Yogi's Gang, where he would run the treadmill that powers the Arc as long as there was plenty of banana. Oh, God. Oh, God. And
That's
Yogi,
so awesome.
in Yogi Bear's All-Star Comedy Christmas Caper, Magilla Gorilla, alongside Wally Gator and Yankee Doodle, were unable to help Yogi and friends locate Jay Wellington Jones. In the Fender Bender 500 segment of Wake, Rattle, and Roll, Magilla Gorilla was partnered with Wally Gator as they rode monster truck called the Swamp Stomper. Okay. Oh, wow. No. No.
You got to read it.
No. Oh,
read
Christ. Oh, Christ. Magilla appeared as a teenage gorilla on Yo Yogi as Superstar Magilla Ice, a reference to Vanilla Ice. Oh,
Can't hate on Vanilla Ice after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, too.
oh God. Magilla Gorilla appeared as Sinbad on Scooby-Doo in Arabian Nights. In an episode of The Simpsons, Homer looks at a statue of himself created by Marge and exclaims, "You made me a statue of Magilla Gorilla." Also in the episode, when you dish upon a star, Homer is heard singing the theme song in his sleep, right before Homer, as Magilla, apparently savages Mr. Peoples. Wow, that doesn't sound right. Let's see. Well, the Adult Swim cartoon series Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, in the episode Free Magilla, Magilla Gorilla, voiced by Maurice LaMarche, was liberated by a parody of PETA called PAF, People's Animal Freedom Front, whom Mr. Peoples, also voiced by Maurice LaMarche, proceeded to sue whenever Magilla would use one of his trademark grating one-liners and characters would slap him in the face or peck out his eyes. Okay, I'm not continuing that. Magilla Gorilla was seen in a Cartoon Network rap in 1995. Yeah, I remember that.
I do have to mention, just because we didn't mention it before, Magilla Gorilla did end up, as far as ratings go, it ended up the highest rated off-network kids show in most of its markets, outperforming what some call the far superior Mickey Mouse Club reruns.
Yeah. It is on DVD, apparently. Warner Home Video released the entire Magilla Gorilla series together with the Ricochet Rabbit and Droopalong and Pumpkin Puss Mush Mouse shorts in box DVD collection on August 15th, 2006. The DVD set doesn't include the 1964 Magilla Gorilla show main and end title sequences, and the cartoons are not yet restored. Well, that's kind of stupid.
So it's on there, you can watch them, but it's not getting the same treatment that some of the other cartoons these days
Well, that makes no sense, though, and one of the reasons why I asked you how many episodes there were of the show...
it doesn't have them all.
Yeah, it only has 23 episodes, so how the hell is it a complete series? Oh, God.
It has 23 episodes, not the main intro, outro sequences, not the restoration version of the cartoons, but it does give you 3 little additional bonus features, I guess.
Magilla's theme song, Live and Unplugged, Mr. People's Pet Shop, and Here Comes a Star. Oh, God. I'm so glad I don't own that.
Yeah, there must have been a rush to get that out or something, and they didn't want to spend any money or time in actually doing it right.
Whatever. So we are going to take a break, and we will be back.
ToonCast will be back after these messages.
This is the Magilla Gorilla Show, starring me and Mr. Peebles, with Mush Mouse and Pumpkin Puss, and Ricochet Rabbit and Droopball.
Well, I declare, the coast is clear. Now I can mosey over to the icebox and snitch me a mess of chitlins and gritlins whilst old Pumpkin Puss is off lollygagging around somewhere. Now let me see, what'll it be? Thanks a heapful.
Y'all is welcome.
Pumpkin Puss!
Yeah, and it's high time you showed up, Mush Mouse. I might near froze amongst these pickles and icicles. Now free!
If there's one thing I can't stand, it's a cold, hungry hillbilly cat.
Yo is headed for the last roundup, Mush Mouse.
Now back to ToonCast. ToonCast.
So what are your final thoughts on Magilla?
I don't know. As far as, since we're doing a Hanna-Barbera spotlight, I'll just compare it to the other Hanna-Barbera stuff. I mean, it's worth a watch. Watch a couple episodes, but I myself am not someone who is being basically persuaded to go out and buy the DVD set, especially after what we just said about it. But it's not making me want to go watch the entire series. I feel like if I've watched a couple episodes, I've probably watched all of them. That being said, it's not bad. It's just what I'm finding interesting during the spotlight is some of them are actually making me want to go buy the set, and some of them are not. And this one's not, but I still think it's better than a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff that was out.
Right.
I'd probably put it somewhere in the middle, I guess. It's better than some stuff, but it's not as good as some of their greatest stuff.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with that. And like I said, I mainly liked Pumpkin Puss and Mush Mouse from this series. The Magilla episodes were okay, but after a while they just end up being the same thing every episode.
Right.
So, alright. Thank you for joining us here on ToonCast. There are several ways to get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show. First, you can stop by geekcastradio.com, find all the other podcasts there. You can join our forums by going to PredicateEmpire.com/Nexus, and you can leave the show feedback in iTunes. We now have a voicemail line. Give us a call and leave us your message. Oh crap, I screwed that up. Be sure to say what show you're leaving the message for and your name. The number is 502-526-5821. We have Twitter. The show name there is GCRN ToonCast. Mine is TFG1 Mike. What is your Twitter?
Boss KDAWG.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToonCast. We shall join us next time when we'll be taking a slight break from the Hanna-Barbera Spotlight with It's the Easter Beagle, Charlie Brown.
That is not what it says in the script.
That's what it says in mine. For now, I am TFG1 Mike with
Optimus Solo.
Thinking the immortal words of Optimus Prime. Transform and roll out, and thank you for listening. Until next time.
The Magilla Gorilla Show, presented by Ideal Toys. They're wonderful toys. They're ideal. Get it?
We've got a gorilla for sale, Magilla Gorilla for sale. Gorilla your dreams, the sweetest gorilla, gorilla for sale. He's real, he's ideal, and he's awfully cute. He's an ever-living doll in a monkey suit. Gorilla, Magilla Gorilla for sale.
How much is that gorilla in the window?
Take our advice at any price. A gorilla like Magilla is mighty nice. Gorilla, Magilla.